All right. Oh my goodness gracious, what a day. Unbelievably busy. Unbelievably busy day today. So, anyhow, good evening, everyone. Prepper Nurse One here. I hope everybody is doing well. I hope you all have had a good day. And yeah, but I'll give you a little kind of synopsis. You'll see over the next several days. I did do a lot of videos today. So, but and I actually have to make more. So to finish everything up, so you guys can see everything. Three different sites were worked on today. We had Roy's spot got opened up today. That was the biggest project. That took the longest time. Les's spot got opened up today. So, and then Rob was having some work done behind his place because he's got more projects that he wants to do. So there had to be excavator work done. So we knew that he was coming in to work on Roy's spot. So we're like, does anybody else need, only we were in mid 80s today, Delbert, I think, something like that. I know the bugs were insane. The bugs were absolutely insane today. They were all over the place. But other than that, it wasn't too terribly bad. Um, but 120 in Vegas, man. Yeah, but it's a dry heat. It's a dry heat. I love when it's a dry heat. Hot is hot. I don't care. Anyway, and then Darius did come today, and so that's a very long video. I think that video ends up being almost 28 minutes long, and we break down all the way through, look at everything, um, and but he was like, "That hive is amazing. It's doing fantastic," and so like, really pleased. And so about 4 or 5 more days, I will go out. I will look to. I may give it a couple extra days, just because I did put that other new box on. So I'm going to give them a couple more days, and then I'll go out and I'll look and see where they're at, see where they're doing, and kind of go from there. But yeah, overall, just like I said, it was really busy day, and yeah, the Middle East is not looking good. So we're gonna get into that here in a little bit, but yeah, so we're gonna talk about that, and I'm gonna tell you what, man. Listen, for those people out there that don't like Jews, okay, and you're out there, we know you're out there, okay. There's a big difference between being a Jew and being an Israeli. Now they're Jewish, don't get me wrong, but those are not the people you want to play with. The Israelis are some of the toughest people out there. They've been fighting ever since the development of the state of Israel. And they're used to fighting on multiple fronts, and all those type of things. So, but yeah, they just took out the leader of Hamas, which I thought was absolutely awesome and good for them. And I don't care where he was at, they took him out, and so good. Uh, Iran is saying they're going to do retaliation, of course. Uh, we, the United States, need to take the kid gloves off and tell Israel, do what you got to do. We'll give you whatever weapons you need. Because war is money, folks. You don't think that golden cow is going to stop. You don't think because you have one lunatic in Congress holding up a sign saying war criminal, that's going to stop the money grab of making money from building bombs and missiles or whatever else we're going to give Israel. You change. It's not going to change. Money is they don't care at the end of the day. It's always about money. I shouldn't say they don't care. They care about money. So that's not going to stop. That is absolutely not going to stop. But My hat's off to Israel, man. They do not fart around. They don't fart around. They say if we get an opportunity to take somebody out, we're going to take them out, and that's exactly what they do. So, but yeah, so yeah, if you have any issues, guys, jump out of the stream and jump back in because I'm not experiencing anything amiss on this end. The other thing too, before we really jump into anything, I want to remind everybody this is a very family-friendly oriented channel. I would ask you all to please be decent in the chat. No racism, no nastiness. If you cannot abide by those very simple, easy rules, those awesome people lit up in blue with the blue wrenches are going to boot you out of here because we're not going to have it. Okay, we're just not going to have. We're not going to tolerate it. Also, if you want something to stand out for me, cap locks, please. And I do appreciate that. The other day, in a regular video, I mentioned something, and I wanted to mention it again here tonight. So, John from Florida had sent a donation the other day. Um, and I told you guys, what he had sent and what I spent it on. I spent it on bird feed and dog food, and it's easy to spend $50 on that without even blinking an eye. It's very, very fast how quickly that goes. Well, I woke up today. John from Florida had sent another donation, and so did Paolo. I hope I'm saying her name right. Paolo from the UK. She also sent a donation, and I appreciate it. And she said to me, stock up on food, and I'm absolutely going to do that. I'm actually going to go, and I'm going to take both of those donations, and I'm going to go to probably oh, Aldi's, and I'm going to stock up on canned goods. I'm going to get more canned food. I can get a lot of stuff with that amount of money. So I appreciate that. I want to thank you folks for doing that. And like I said, realistically, all that will help the homestead because that'll be food, more food that we're going to have here, for later on down the road. With it, okay. Well, I'll do it. I'll do it easier. Full of hope. Full of Hope sent that donation, so thank you very much, Full of Hope. It's very much appreciated. Um, yes, and I knew I butchered it, so and it's so weird how it's an A with at the end. Okay, that's so weird how names are said, but anyway, I'll just call you Full of Hope. It's much easier. But I do appreciate that donation. So, but I lovely Italian sound. I gotcha. All right. Oh man, I'll tell you, I've been going literally, folks. I've been going since this morning, and I literally just finished up with the last thing, maybe a half an hour before this live stream started. I think I ended up making today, I think like a grand total of 11 videos. So there's going to be a lot of content coming up. And what I was been and that's the other thing. So all day while I've been doing other things, I've been uploading videos. We were when we get together next weekend, JJ. Next weekend is the get together weekend, not this weekend coming up. We're going to be back working in the bunker. We have some, we got some stuff that we wanted. We got to get the drainage in before we can really do anything else. We got to get the drainage in. So that is something that we will be working on this coming get together. We may work a little bit in the bunker itself. We got to clean up around on the floor of the bunker, number one. We got to try to get the drainage through, and then we got to start widening it out from the very beginning because we got to start getting that prepared to, I got to get a concrete floor in there. I got to start getting block in there and getting the walls blocked up and all those things. There's a lot that has to be done. But we need to get on that. We really need to get on that. The last several months we have not. We've been focusing on other things. But, we're definitely going to get back into the bunker and work on it again. So that is highly on the top of the agenda, especially with everything going on. If we ended up having to go underground right now, it's not ready. It's better than nothing. But again, in type of a situation, if it was a true SHTF situation, well, now you got everybody here all the time. You can make a lot of progress in a hurry with a lot of people. But I would rather, you know, be further along than we are. In the last several months, we've done nothing with the bunker. So we will definitely get back on that project and get going with that. But yeah, so it's just, but anyhow, again, today was a great day. A lot of stuff got done. So I was really happy about that. Making progress, any kind of forward progress, things are moving in the right direction. It's awesome. And there was a little surprise today as well, which he did not expect it. But when we were going down to go hit where Les is going to be, you go right by Mark's. Okay. Well, if you guys have seen in the videos, when you turn and you go into where Marx's place is at, there's a big bump, and it's a pain in the butt walking over that all the time. So I had the excavator guy take 10 minutes and open that corner up, and get that squared away over there as well, and get rid of that bump. So, and I sent Mark a couple of pictures, and I went surprise. So, you'll be seeing it in upcoming videos, but that was pretty cool. So, here's another thing too. So, was up in the upper meadow today. I went over and I said, let me look and see how Bud's um, rain catchment's doing. Okay. Now I didn't know that he had done it this way. Um, but his downspout, so he's got the gutters up there, and then he's got the downspouts, and he's got like a flush system. Well, what he had done is he had used duct tape on that spot, and unfortunately, the duct tape did not hold, and that whole thing there was nothing in the tank. All the water from the rain just washed right onto the ground because that disconnected. So I sent him a picture of that and let him know. But see, here's the beauty of that. Okay, so right now, right now, if you make a mistake and you screw up, you can fix it, which is great. Okay, so yeah, I didn't have a coupler. Yeah, and that happens, man. I mean, it's not a big deal. But the thing is, now you know that didn't work. So now you got to get a coupler, which is fine. You'll get a coupler, you'll hook it back up, and everything will be good. But the point I'm making is doing projects now. And if something fails or something breaks or something doesn't work right now, while it's not SHTF yet, you have an opportunity. You have the time to fix it. So instead of waiting until you know, after an SHTF event and trying your stuff out then, if something doesn't work, you can't fix it then. It's too late to fix it. So that's really important, um, to troubleshoot things, see what works, make sure everything is working the way that you hope that it will. So that's just kind of like, and I'm not trying to throw Village Homestead under the bus in any way, shape, or form. Things happen, okay? But again, it is better to learn from the mistakes, fix them now, so it doesn't become a bigger problem later on. So, but anyhow, so we're going to talk about Israel, Iran, the Middle East, all that situation over there a little bit here in this live stream. I think that that's important. What do we got? 140 people in the live stream. We got 88 thumbs up. Folks, if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I would ask you to please do so to show support for the channel. I thank you ahead of time. It really does make a big difference with the algorithm. So the more interaction, the better for the channel as well. So I thank you for that reason. And again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. So just to put it out here ahead of time, it's very highly unlikely that I will be live streaming either Friday or Sunday. Okay. And as soon as I know what I'm going to be working next week, I'll, like, for the hardcore members, I'll let them know what day I'm live streaming. I'll set it up ahead of time so it's all ready to go. But I don't think, I mean, and it may change. I may, end up being able to be home on time and to do a live stream either Friday or Sunday. I don't know. But if not, so then, I but the reality is most likely I will not be live streaming either Friday or Sunday. So, but Sue says becoming a community. It really is. Things have really been coming together. Getting all these different buildings in here, and people are working on their buildings, and I think that that's awesome. I think that that's a great thing. So, it's actually coming together, and there's a long way to go. There's a lot to do, but we'll get there. We will get there. So, but football starts tomorrow. Does it really already? Oh, preseason stuff, JJ. See, well, yeah, unless the grid goes down, but then hopefully not. Well, we hope not. I mean, see, the thing is, you can hope that things aren't going to get bad or change. And oh, Hall of Fame game, I got you. You can hope that things don't get bad. Israel has taken out 2 of 3 targets in the last. Yeah, they took out another guy too. I saw that too, and good for them. Like I say, good for them. So, hey, go after the leadership. It's what you should do. So, just got a bushel of peaches for $20. Going to get those canned ASAP. That's very smart. That's an awesome, great deal too. Awesome. I like I said again, guys. If you're canning, highly recommend that you get canning. You get what you need to get going with that. Get everything put up that you can. Do everything that you possibly can to put yourself in a winning situation. You don't want to be in this situation when the time comes, like the majority of people that are going to be caught with their pants down. They're not ready. They're not anywhere near ready. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to do it. When you have a majority of the people out there that I went to Cracker Barrel earlier today, and they were putting up winter holiday decorations already. Unbelievable. See, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. Yeah, but anyway, going back to the whole Middle East thing, they've been fighting guys over there for 2,000 years. It's not going to change. It's never going to change. When you have one group of people that doesn't like a different group of people, there's always going to be conflict, and we have always. Oh yeah, I was gonna. I'll show this on the live stream too. I actually have it right here. I didn't wear it today because I was outside and I was working and stuff. But Full of Hope actually was the one that sent this. It is a Norse bracelet with the 2 wolves' heads, and very very cool because she knows that I like Norse mythology and all that. So thank you so much for this. Love it, love it, love it. I think it's awesome, and so that is a good thing. I was going to show you guys something else too. So I had to. Um, I showed. I showed it in the private live stream. Let me see where is that. Let me see where I put it first before I start. Where did I put that? I want to show you guys something. Oh, where did I put it? Oh, here it is. All right. So I'll show you a couple things really quickly. So I went and bought cheesecloth. Okay, and I had more honey to process, but I knew there was more honey in the comb itself. So what I did, and I'll show you this as well. I just have this sitting over here for right now because I got to take this apart actually. Um, so and there's actually a little bit of honey still. Look at that. You guys can see that. Oh man, it's so good. That's why I have it in this container. But anyway, I took all that honeycomb that was in the bucket put it in this cheesecloth, and then squeeze the crap out of it, and I'm still getting honey off of this. But anyhow, so let's keep that covered up for right now. Well, when it's done and I got all the honey, then I'll take that off, save the wax, but literally still getting honey off of that. I will show you. So I picked up some 1 pound jars, and I filled one of these. So there is a pound of honey right there. The honey that I had 6 honey bears that I filled up, and one of these from the honey that we got from just two trays from the bees. So hey, there he is. He's under the wife's account. Good day from the land down under. So anyway, yeah, but it's got quite a bit of honey. I might try to hold off. I was thinking about going up on the 4th, but we were up there today, okay? And we were checking stuff out today and looking at what the bees were doing. And, you know, well, it's Philip, actually, guys. Yeah. But he's under his wife's account, under Karen. So, but anyhow, I'm going to go up. I'm going to process more honey before the next get together. And so I will definitely be doing that. I have to see what my schedule is again for next week, but that'll be on the agenda. So I might wait. I might not do it the 4th. The 4th would be 10 days. We were up there today, broke the entire hive down. Like I said, when you'll see that video, that'll be an upcoming video. It is a 28-minute long video. It's a long video, but the hive is doing amazing. I did not get stung today, so that was a good thing. Was very happy about that. And yes, I had my chaps on. I was like, man, I don't want to get stung on my legs again. But it was really neat. It was really, really neat. Could you explain how you got started on this homestead? Thanks. Okay. Well, Backwoods, Arkansas, that's a great question. I was living off grid up in New York, and I did that for 8 years. Anybody that's watched this channel for any length of time knows I was in New York 8 years, and ended up buying. So then I knew I wanted to be out of New York. Okay, so I had to make a decision. Where am I going to go? So my initial thought, I will tell you, you should get a kick out of this. Some of you will. So my initial thought, I was thinking Tennessee or Kentucky. That was in my mind. I was thinking Tennessee or Kentucky. Well, a good friend of mine, Eric, he bought the big blue house down here, that Steve stays in. He has property in northern West Virginia. Now he lives down in Washington D.C. Okay, and so he had said to me at the time, he said, Ed, why don't you check out West Virginia? And I'll never forget the conversation. I go, West Virginia? And he's like, listen. And he starts pointing out all the pros of living in West Virginia. And I'm like, so he's like, land is fairly inexpensive. The taxes are a whole lot cheaper. The weather, you still get 4 seasons, but the winters are nowhere near like I'm used to in New York. The Second Amendment is a very Second Amendment friendly state. It's a very red state as well. So it's not a bunch of liberals running the show, ruining the state. So if you don't agree with that, that's perfectly fine too. You don't have to. But I wanted to be in a better environment. So I came down here. Heather had come with me. We stayed in a town for 3 days, talked to 3 different real estate agents, talked to all 3 of them on the phone. They said, yep, we'll get back to you. I told them I was looking for raw land, blah, blah, blah. Never heard back from any of them. Not one of them ever got back to me. So I'm like, okay. So we left there and we started driving. And there's a magazine that's no longer actually being published anymore that was called the Trader magazine. And so I would stop at the gas station to get gas. I picked up the Trader magazine, and it had some properties, land for sale. So the first place that I called was here that I ended up buying. He couldn't see me until the afternoon. early evening, I should say. So I said, all right, well, we went and looked at another piece of property first. That one was not absolutely not going to work. And so we came here, we looked at this property here. And so what I personally was looking for, okay, I wanted high elevation. I wanted to control the high ground. So that was one of my stipulations. So I wanted to be in the mountains. I wanted higher ground. I wanted to be in an area that was more isolated, that there's not a ton of people around. I wanted to be able to be back in the woods, and we are obviously here. And so, there was a lot of things that I was looking for. They had two springs on the property, and so we looked at this property, and I remember, I'll never forget, Heather looked at me and she went, "This is the one, isn't it, Dad?" And I went, "Yeah, Heather, this is the one." And it just called to me. I knew this is where I needed to be. And so I ended up buying this property. But you have to find what you're looking for. Um, do you want to be in a county where there's a ton of regulations, right? A lot of government overreach. Or do you want to be in a county where there's not as much government overreach? I mean, those are things that you absolutely have to look at when you're looking to buy a piece of property. What are the laws? Know what you're getting into. And so those things are important. And I just this area, this place, it met every check mark that I had. Now, the only thing, I did not get stung today. No, real freedom. I did not get stung today. And you'll see the video. I mean, the bees are all over the place, but I did not get stung today. Um, but anyway, you have to have your checklist of what you want. What I like or what I want may not be the same thing that you want. Now, the one thing I will tell you this, the soil up here absolutely sucks. Okay. You literally got about maybe 3 inches of decent topsoil, and then after that, it's all clay. So it's not conducive to growing. So you're gonna, but we knew that, and we kind of were like, okay, well, we'll have to develop spots and develop the soil, and we'll do greenhouses and all those type of things. And it's not a, not a big deal. It's just part of the trade-off, your pros and your cons. It's plenty of water, there's plenty of rain down here, and yeah, we'll do raised beds and stuff like that as well done. So eventually we're going to have rabbits, and we'll use rabbit poop as well, which is great for the soil. And obviously chicken compost as well. There's chicken pot compost in this garden out here right now, and the garden is doing fantastic. So again, you have to have your list, know what you want, know what you're looking for. Okay, like I said, everybody's going to be different what they want. Some people may want to be on a coast. Some people may want to be down in the valley. They don't want the high ground. But I like I said, I had my criteria of what I wanted, and this property hit all the check marks. And really, really happy, very, very blessed. Was able to pick up this piece of property, and here we are. What, 3 years later since I bought this place, and we're doing unbelievable. In the last 2 years, setting a group up and getting a group going, and learning what works with that and what doesn't work with that. I mean, that's a learning curve in itself. It really is. The biggest thing is, if you want to be part of a group, or you want to start a group, or any of that type of stuff, you need to vet the people. You really do. You better be doing thorough checks on them. Go with your gut. That's another thing you need to do, and just figure out what works and what doesn't work. And some people are going to be a match, and some people are not. That doesn't mean that they're bad people. It's just not a good match. So it's not about all these people that it didn't pan out, they all suck. No, it's nothing to do with that. How did you get your members? Honestly, the way that I got my members, I put it out here on YouTube, and I said if anybody would be interested in starting to get together as a group, so we had an initial meeting, and a bunch of people came down to that initial meeting. And of those people that came down, some of them joined the group, and some did not. And then we've just kind of gone from there. And I've had, people reach out, obviously through YouTube, and they were like, we like what you're doing, and you're obviously serious, and we're interested in being part of that. And so, we put them through the checks and all the different things that we do, and and see if they're going to be a good fit or not. And if they are, then like Jamie and Dawn are the newest members, right? And I think they're going to be a fantastic fit. And so, we'll just, like I said, we just do what we have to do, figure it out. When the time comes, the more people make compost piles, they will be amazed at how fast they compost and develop microbes with their perfect grow cycles. Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. Sergeant of the Marine says it's hard to believe it's been 3 years already. Have been enjoying watching your journey both in New York and West Virginia. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And yet, when I bought this property, I will tell you guys right now, okay? I remember clear as day when I bought this property. Number one, people said, different people, obviously, you don't have enough time. You can't do anything. You're not going to have enough time. And I've always felt you have whatever time you're going to have. You get done whatever you can get done. And yes, starting over, from scratch, because that's what this was starting over from scratch. I knew it wasn't going to be easy, and I knew it was going to take time. But you know what? It's done great, and it's growing, and we got great people. The other thing I got told, you're too old to start over again. And I'm going to tell you what, guys. I may not go as fast as I used to go, but there ain't no quitting me. Never has been, never will be. I do what I got to do. I do what I can. When my body says to me, that's enough, stupid, sometimes I listen to it and sometimes I don't. When I don't, then, it's just the way it goes. But, oh, and yes, Dawn says, sort of from scratch, you learned a ton from the homestead in New York. The advantage of the things that I screwed up in New York, I did not screw up down here. So yes, there was that learning curve of everything, the different mistakes that I had made at the New York homestead that I brought down here. Like a good example would be the solar system down here. I went straight to a 48-volt solar system when I came down here. I was not farting around. I wasn't going to go any lighter or cheaper stuff. I went ahead and spent the money, had things all set up ahead of time before I even moved down here. I had purchased them. If you guys remember in New York, I purchased the panels and got the charge controller inverter, had it all sitting there in New York 6 months before I came down here. And so, when that spring came and I came down, and then Brian came down and, helped me get the solar system set up. And then Ronnie came down, and that was when the first time I was meeting Ronnie, and he helped get the battery room going, and and all that type of stuff. And again, you put the right people together and good things happen. That's just a fact. Now, have there been bumps in the road down here? Of course there is. Nothing, here's the thing, nothing is ever going to be smooth sailing. That would be one thing I would definitely tell you. There's going to be roadblocks and bumps in the road and screw ups and whatever other difficulties are going to happen. But if you work again methodically at whatever you're trying to do, you will get there. Maybe not as quickly as you would hope. That's going to happen. That is going to happen. I stick with the automobile standard 12 volt because so much of available in 12 volt without voltage modification, that's difficult sometimes. Well, again, you got to go what's good for you, okay? And there's nothing wrong with doing that, but it comes down to me. It is want and need, right? Do I want it to be more efficient? What are my power needs and all those type of things? And so, starting out with a 12 volt system in New York and then going to a 24 volt system, and starting with marine deep cycle batteries, and then going to Trojan L16Es, and then from the Trojan L16E batteries, we went to the lithium ion, and and that's worked out great. That's still what's being used in New York right now after 10 years. So and that's it's worked out great. So, but again, you have to make a decision of what you want to do, where you want to be, what are your needs, what are your wants. Are you here's an important one, folks, okay? And this may sound, I don't want to say cavalier, but here's what it comes down to. Are you willing to do short-term sacrifice for long-term goals? So what do I mean by that? Are you willing to go without certain things until you have the money to do it, and then do it right, make sure it's squared away? So I'm going to give you an example of this, okay? In New York, with the homestead in New York, we did not have running water for a year and a half. It was a year and a half before we had running water. So we had to hump all our water in. We took showers by heating up water in, either on the stove or using the microwave to heat water up, putting it into buckets, hopping in the shower in the camper, and showering that way. We did what we had to do. But when we were finally able to get the shower set up and have that done, what an awesome thing. I mean, to be able, see, until you don't have it, you don't appreciate it. When you don't have something, okay, and then you finally get it, you go, oh my God, this is awesome. The first time I took a shower, in our house up there, once we converted the shed into a home, and I was finally able to take a hot shower in the house, without having to heat water up and all that type of stuff. It was amazing, absolutely amazing. And and that's how it is. You just have to. It comes down to wants and needs. Um, are you willing to sacrifice? And if you are, but you got to understand, we live in a society now that I like to call it an instant gratification society. They are not willing to sacrifice. One of the things, like when I had talked to Heather about coming down here. Now, Heather's been there, from the beginning, obviously, when we started the project in New York. And so she went through all that. And she had said to me, when I came down here, she goes, Dad, she goes, I don't want to do it again. I don't want to start from scratch again. And I understand that. Okay. I do. I totally get that. And like I said, I think within a 2-year period, we've come a pretty long way here. And we'll keep making progress, and we'll keep taking care of what we need to take care of and do what we got to do, and it'll come together. And I'm not worried about that. I know it will, so, but it's just, that's one of those things. But you got to be willing to work hard. A lot of people are not willing to work hard. You got to be willing to sacrifice. You got to realize there's going to be setbacks. That happens. There's going to be setbacks, guaranteed, no matter how thoroughly you plan things out and how hopefully smooth. Now, I will tell you this, today, the weather cooperated. Everything went smoothly. Everything went as it should go. The planning was perfect. We got, excavator was in here last night, and it's just all those things. It all worked out really, really well, and thank goodness it went great. How will your family get to West Virginia when things go south? We already have had it. We've already had discussions about that, and there is a game plan in place, and so hopefully they'll get here in time. That is because I will tell you guys right now, just like when Heather was in college, and I told Heather when she was in college and staying on campus, I said, things go sideways, I am not coming to get you. I'm not coming to get you. So you need to be really clear about those things when you're making plans. Because let's say we hadn't had that discussion and things went sideways, and I take off and I'm heading down to where she was in college to go there, and then she takes off from college and is heading home. All right. And we don't cross paths for whatever reason. And I'm down there trying to find her, can't find her. She comes home and I'm not there. So the game plan was always, I'm not leaving. I am staying right here. You have to come to me. That was always the plan. That's still the plan. I will not be going up to New York when SHTF happens. It's not going to happen. They got to come here. This is a much better location. Obviously, we're getting the infrastructure in place, so that's a work in progress. It will continue to be a work in progress. Whatever amount of time that we have left. I'll give you an example of something that I said to Dave just yesterday. Okay. Now, Dave's here. He's here at the homestead. And I said to him, I said, okay, you got your wood stove here, right? And he goes, yes. Do you got your piping and everything that you need? And he goes, no. And I said, even if you're not going to be putting that wood stove in soon, you need to get those supplies here. So and I'll explain why here in a second, and then I'll give you another example of something. And I said, because things go sideways, now you'll be here. And if you already have the materials here, you're going to be here. Now we can put it together. We can work together, get it put up and get it set up. If you don't have those materials here, we can't do that. So even if you're not putting it together right away, you need to have those supplies on site. So an example of that would be Mark. Mark has several projects that he's working on down, with the deer blind, right? Several projects. He's got all the materials here. They're already all here. Now, did he get it all done? No. But everything he needs to get his projects done are already on site. So he can work on them, bang, just like that. If like SHTF happens, he's got all the stuff here. He can put it together and he's good to go. So those are important things. Another example would be like for Rob, okay, for his building. You know, he's doesn't have his gutters up yet, but he's got all the gutters, he's got all the brackets, he's got all the extension, he's got everything that he needs to put that together is here at the property. So again, if you're going to be doing something and you might not be doing it for a little while, make sure you get the supplies where you need them to be. Ed, do you think going back roads to get to the bug out location immediately, even if the highways are open, is a safer plan? That's a great question. Um, there's going to be a window of opportunity. It's going to be easier, obviously, to take the expressways, the highways, if you get out quick enough. Now, what I would suggest, and this is an option. You're traveling, right? There's going to be truckers out there with CB radios and stuff like that. If you get a car, you can know there is a traffic jam. So if you can get highway for a good stretch, and then that up ahead, 20 miles ahead, there's this huge backup and delay, then you go, okay, now we take back roads. So always know alternative routes. I think that is important. But if you bug out soon enough and are able to get on the highway and do that travel, so for me to go back to New York, it takes me right around 8 hours. That's the way I drive, number one. I drive at night, number two, when I do drive to go up there. So the roads are empty. It's pretty much smooth sailing, and there's no issues. And it still takes 8 hours of driving time. And if I stop, and I usually stop once, I'll gas up, go to the bathroom, get a drink, whatever the case is, whatever I'm doing. That ends up adding more time on to my total trip time. But again, I'll give you an example of what I have said to Heather. With her car, it only has a 14-gallon capacity. Now, she can get 30 miles to the gallon. So I said, what you need to do, and it's over 500 miles to get down here. All right, it's over 500 miles to get down here. She needs to have at least 2 extra gas cans that she can put in that car so she does not have to stop at a gas station to be able to get down here in one trip without stopping. She may have to stop at some point, put gas in the car. That's it. That's the only thing she would have to do, but she doesn't have to worry about then going to a gas station, hoping that they can get gas. Maybe they're jacking up prices or whatever the case may be. It's all about planning and putting things in place. Now, the biggest key is as soon as you feel like there's like this, I'll tell you what I've told my daughter, guys. I said, if I call you or if I text you and say, get here now, I said, I don't care if you're at work, I don't care what you're doing, you leave, you go home, you immediately pack up everything that you can think of to pack up, and you get on the road. Now, if it's a false alarm, it's a nice test, right? Nice test. But the sooner you go, the better your chances are going to be to make it. There was always the rule of thumb. We're going to do egg count here, guys, in just a second, but I want to make this point. The rule of thumb was always that you have 72 hours. I'm sure some of you have heard this. 72 hours to get to your bug out location. I don't think that with modern communications and panic and people like that the people have now, I don't think you have 72 hours anymore. I think you'll be very, very lucky if you have 36 hours. I really believe that you'll be lucky if you have 36 hours to get to your location. You might not have that long. So the sooner you leave to get to your bug out location, if you have one, the better off you're going to be. That's just my advice to you. You can do whatever you want to do. I'm never going to tell you I'm never going to say you have to or you need to. You can do whatever you want, folks. All right. I'm just telling you from a prepper standpoint, from a prepper mindset, the sooner you get there, the better off you're going to be. If it ends up being that you are, down here for a week and nothing has happened, well, then you go back and you say, hey, I'm sorry. There was an emergency that I had to take care of, but it's always an extra test run because now you'll go, oh, wait a minute. When we left, we forgot X, Y, and Z and stuff like that. So again, you have to make those calls. All right, let's do this, guys. Well, first we got 189 in the chat. We're at 152 thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel. And I thank you ahead of time for that. Also, it really does make a big difference with the algorithm. So the more interaction, don't do the egg count yet, guys. I have not said start. So you guys are screwing yourselves up because I'm not counting anything until I say start. You guys know the rules. I don't know why. You guys have, Kathy, you've been here. You know the rules. Karen, or I should say Philip, you know the rules. Viking Prepper, you too. My goodness gracious. Anyway, again, I appreciate the support of the channel. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications. All right, starting, and not with Carolyn Rice because she jumped the gun as well. Now, how many eggs today, and yes or no for Betty White? So let you guys get your guesses in there, and we will go from there. So give you guys a moment to get your guesses in. God, you guys want to just jump the gun all the time. You guys were funny, though. I think that's funny. No, but after this live stream, I got to go out and I need to wash the stink off of me because I am definitely stinking today. I can tell you that. So, definitely feeling it. All right. If you had the same exact guess as Dust Devil with 4 eggs today, and yes for Miss Betty White, then you are 100% correct. So congratulations to Dust Devil. You've won absolutely nothing, but you are happy about it. So that's a good thing. Now I can tell you right now, guys, I will be in bed early tonight. It has been a long. So you got to understand, okay? So I'm walking where Roy's place is. So I'm walking down the hill. I'm walking up the hill. I'm walking down the hill. I'm walking up the hill. Same thing down for where Les is going. I'm walking down the hill, I'm walking up the hill. Same thing for Rob's. And Rob's is not as far, but still, you're walking down the hill, you're walking back. You know, it's just like, oh my God, I've had enough walking. I got my steps in today. So, anyway, so that is too funny. I trained with FEMA before the 96 Olympics, and they said that we had a 12-hour window to get where we were going. That's more realistic. That's more realistic. You might only have a 12-hour window. So the sooner you get on the road to where you're going, the better off you're going to be. So thank you for that, Tony. I appreciate that. But it's we just have to keep doing the best we can, folks. Like I said, have a plan. Have a plan. Know what you're going to do. Know where you're meeting your family, right? With the modern day, kids are at school, mom's working, dad's working, things blow up. You're not always going to be home. Now, there's a good percentage of chance that you will be because, so many hours of the day you are going to be home. But, I mean, you just don't know. So always realize, have a game plan, know what you're going to do. And when something happens, then you go, okay, it's automatic. It's automatic then. You don't have to think. Your mind is going to be so scrambled with whatever's going on and so stressed and all that already. You're not going to be thinking clearly. So if it's a redundant thing in your mind, okay, holy crap, it actually happened. These lunatics have done X, Y, or Z. Okay. Then okay, so now this is what I got to do. And you do exactly what you need to do, what you've planned for. Your kids, you ingrain that into them. If they're in school, I don't care what the teachers say, I don't care what the principal says. You do what you have to do, and, have a meeting spot. We're meeting here. Mom is closer to the school. So you get out of school, you meet mom XYZ, and then you go to point B, and you just, it's just like that, just like that. And and I'm going to tell you right now, I'll be honest with you guys, and I've always been honest. If you're in the cities, you're screwed. You are screwed if you're in the cities. If you think you have any kind of chance of making it, and you live in a city, you are fooling yourself. If you live in suburbia, you're going to be very lucky if you make it. And that's being honest. The people in the country have a much better high percentage chance of making it, especially if they have a plan, if they know what they're doing, if they're prepared. All those things make a difference. To me, the way that I look at it, why would I not give myself every advantage, every edge that I possibly could? Why would I not do that? So almost more screwed in the country because that's pity folks will be headed. No, they won't. They see, and here's the fallacy of that. And I know a lot of the golden horde will leave the city and they will ascend on the countryside. No, they won't. No, they won't. Some will, yes, but as soon as the traffic jam is jammed up and they can't get out of the city because let's look at New York City, 8 million people, folks. All of a sudden, you have one little fender bender, everything's backed up, no traffic is going anywhere, no cars are going anywhere, tempers are hot, people are losing their minds. They're not going to get on foot and then start walking, because especially if they have no destination in mind. Most people are going to stay what is familiar to them. And by the time they realize that was not a smart call to stay put in the city, it will be too late. It'll be too late. You think the gangbangers and all those type of people are going to run away from the city? No. A lot of people will go to the cities because they think that's where the help will be. And here's the other thing. I'll give you a really good example of something. When we bought the property in New York, out the homestead in New York, Heather had one of her friends come out, okay? And she was like, oh my God, it is so dark out here. That people are not going to go what's unfamiliar. And it's not like people in the country are going to be going, oh yes, come on in, we'll help everybody. No, they're not. They're not going to do that. So uh, we know, please give some tips on living in a large city. I can't leave disabled on life support treatment. Where would you like us to go? If you are, you want me to be honest, being honest, you're on life support, you live in a large city, your chances of surviving if something really truly goes wrong is about zero, realistically. And I'm not trying to be mean, I'm just being honest. If you are on life support and that's how you're surviving, your chances of making it any kind of long term after a true SHTF event, it's just not there. Realistically, most people are going to have a hard enough time even if they're healthy, because people are not ready. They're not physically ready. They're not mentally ready. They don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. They have no skills. The number of people um, that can't even make a fire is frightening. Let alone a shelter. Let alone knowing that they need to get up off the ground and not be sleeping on the direct ground, because it's going to suck the heat out of them, and you can get hyperthermia in the summertime. They don't know. They have no idea, right? So you know, should I dispatch myself? I'm preparing for my mom and son. You have to make that choice. I mean, I can't tell you what to do. I can't tell you what to do. I mean, but like I said, I'm not trying to be cruel and I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to be honest. Here's a reality, okay? And if you're preparing for your mom and your son, that's great, because that will help them out. And I think that that's awesome. But Ed, the immigrants in New York City are tearing up New York City. So when things go sideways, people will have to worry about them as well. Well, it's all that people with that mindset, JJ. It's not just the immigrants. It's those people with that mindset. You know, I'm a realist, and like I said, I'm not going to give you false hope. That's not who I am. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say, oh yeah, you'll be fine, everything will be great, because that's not the reality. The reality is anybody that's diabetic, right? If you are an insulin dependent diabetic, like my mother is an insulin dependent diabetic. They will not last long. They won't last long. That's the reality. Okay. Anybody that's on life saving medication, if you were a kidney transplant or whatever the case may be, um, you know, those people are not going to last long. It's just a reality. The people in the nursing homes, you think about that. What's the casualty rate going to be in the nursing homes? There's not going to be anybody there to take care of those people. There's not. Maybe one or two may try to stay and help people, but the supplies are going to run out. There's not going to be anything they can do. There's going to be nothing that they're going to be able to feed them. Those people are a casualty waiting to happen. Your mentally retarded people, they're not going to be around long unless somebody's holding them by the hand and taking care of them. It's going to be a harsh reality, and you're going to have to harden your hearts. You're going to have to realize that some people are going to not going to make it. I mean, I want you to think about this, right? And think about, like I said again, I'm always going to be reality based, folks. You live in a city. Somehow you've made it out of the city, and you have a destination in mind that is 150 miles away. That we're going to this place, and once we get to this place, we're going to be safe. Your longest day of travel is going to be your first day, because that's the day you're going to be your freshest. Okay. You're going to wake up that next day and you're going to be sore. You're going to be tired. You're going to be hurting. You're only going to go as far as your weakest member of your group is going to go. That's only far you're going to go. If you make it half the distance the second day, that's going to be a lot. Okay. That's reality. So now you have to make a decision. Do we leave grandma behind because grandma's pulling everybody else back? Those are tough things to think about, folks, but they're the reality of the world that we would be in. We can't save, like my ex-wife used to say as a joke, you can't save Maul Hasselhoff, from Baywatch, the show. You can't save everybody, and that's the reality. You have to look at the big picture, and you have to make a decision. Who do we try to save? Who's has the best chances of making it? And you make the hard call. That's a fact. That's reality. So anyway, guys, on that note, which is not a very happy note, um, please be safe. Keep prepping. Do what you can. I mean, do the best that you can. That's what I would encourage you all to do. Think for yourselves. Be as ready as you can be. Be smart. Realize in the woods you are not the apex predator. So if you're not used to being in the woods, there's a whole lot of things in the woods that'll kill you. Okay, there's a whole lot of things out there that'll kill you, especially when you don't know what you're doing. So anyway, please be safe. Keep prepping. Take care of your business. I will see you all. Like I said, I'll see if I can stream Friday or Sunday. No guarantees. I'm going to see where I'm at. Okay. I will talk to you all later. Have a great night. Prepperness One out for now.